Good Sunday morning, everyone. Taking a live look outside right now. A little bit of a cloudy start to the day, but as we get deeper and deeper into the day, we're definitely warming up. But unfortunately, those winds are going to be picking up as well. Thanks so much for sharing a part of your morning with us. I'm Anusha Roy.
And I'm Mark Salinger. Got a lot of news to get to this morning, but want to start off with Corey Reppenhagen with your forecast for a beautiful Sunday. Corey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, it is going to be a really nice day as far as the temperature goes, but keep in mind the winds are going to return once again this afternoon. Take another look outside here. This is from Fort Collins looking out towards the east here. You see a little bit of broken clouds, so the morning will mix in a little bit more sunshine than we will in the afternoon. But also the winds are light to calm right now across the Front Range, so take advantage of that. Also on this same camera shot, you can see way out here on the eastern plains some low clouds bringing some low visibility. That will start to dissipate as we go in the next hour or so. Temperature finally starting on the move upwards. We're up to 48 degrees here in the Denver area. Here's the current temperatures across the region, finally starting to move that mercury up, and we're going to gain about 30 degrees over the next 6 hours. Here's your forecast through Denver here. A little bit more sunshine in the morning, and the winds will just gradually build through the day, hitting its peak somewhere around 4 o'clock, and that'll last through the late afternoon and evening hours, looking at 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts here in the Denver area. But the temperatures are just really nice here in the possibly upper 70s for some of us along the Front Range, and the mountains will be really nice conditions until the storm starts to bring in those scattered showers, and then later tonight, snow showers.
All right, thanks so much for that. We are following breaking news right now. Rescue efforts are underway after a teenager fell 30 feet into an abandoned missile silo. This is near the town of Deer Trail. The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says a group of teenagers got into that silo around 3:30 this morning when one of them fell into it. The other teens have been rescued, but the one that is still trapped does have serious injuries. Rescue teams have entered the silo. They've made contact with the victim. A rescue helicopter is on standby. We also have a crew that is headed that way as well, and we'll continue to update you as we learn more ourselves.
Developing overnight, a person has died after being shot by 2 Aurora police officers. Happened just off of Colfax on 14th and Clinton in Aurora. Police tell us the person that they shot was also the suspect in a different shooting that happened just earlier in the afternoon. Officers were dispatched for that second shooting at 7:45 p.m. Police arrived on scene and found someone shot in the leg. The suspect left the scene in a red Mustang, leading police on a chase, but they eventually lost track of him. The suspect ended up returning to the scene armed. That's when Aurora police shot him. The Aurora police chief said they're still trying to figure out if the suspect also shot at officers.
Unfortunately, the suspect in that red Mustang did return to the scene. Officers on the scene saw the suspect, and essentially at that point in time, our suspect did have a gun, and we had 2 officers that were involved and actually fired their weapons and struck the suspect, and he was transported shortly, just very quickly. We do believe that he fired his weapon at the original victim. We're still trying to discover if there are other points that he fired the weapon as well, but we do believe that he fired the weapon at the victim originally.
That man was taken to the hospital where he later died. Right now, we don't have information on the name or age of the man shot by police. 2 officers involved have been placed on administrative leave while the department investigates. The other victim who was shot is expected to be okay.
New this morning, Aurora police are investigating after a woman was stabbed to death overnight. Happened around 1:45 this morning on the 2200 block of Geneva Street. Officers arrived to find a woman on the ground and a man standing over her. He ran from the scene, hasn't been found since. The victim was taken to the hospital where she later died. Right now, we don't know if the victim and the suspect knew each other. If you happen to know anything about this, you're asked to call police.
Police in Fort Collins are working to learn more after a man walked into a woman's apartment and assaulted her. Happened around 3:45 Saturday morning on East Stewart Street up in Fort Collins. Police say the woman had serious injuries and went to the hospital. Still don't know if there was a relationship between the suspect and the victim. The Colorado legislature is working through the weekend as lawmakers race against the clock before the end of the legislative calendar this week. With just 4 days left, there's still more than 200 bills on the calendar before the end comes on Wednesday night. The Senate worked until 2 a.m. this morning. This is the 3rd time the Colorado Senate convened on a Sunday in the past year. Before 2023, the Senate had gone 84 years without meeting on a Sunday. In that rare Saturday session that spilled over into Sunday, the Senate and House passed through bills that things like regulated oil and gas, election deadlines, same-sex marriage. Still a lot of work to be done, though. Well, moving to other news now, pro-Palestinian protests continue on university campuses across the country. In Charlottesville, Virginia yesterday, police used pepper spray to disperse protesters at the university there. Police had warned protesters an unlawful assembly would be declared if they refused to leave. They didn't leave, and that's when a line of police dressed in riot gear moved in. The university reports 25 people have been arrested and taken to jail.
Cleanup crews are hard at work removing graffiti from the UCLA campus. It comes after law enforcement stepped in this week to remove the encampment from campus. At least 200 people were arrested in that process. The student-led protest and encampment was there on campus for a week before it was deemed an unlawful assembly. Just into the newsroom, police in the nation's capital say a man was killed after crashing his car into a White House security barrier. The crash happened last night. The Secret Service says there is no active threat to the White House, but that accident was fatal. According to officials, the car was speeding before hitting the White House gates.
More than 70 people have been rescued in an area around Houston, Texas, amid catastrophic flooding this week. The Harris County Sheriff's Office said 73 people and 42 animals were rescued between Tuesday and Saturday morning, and more rescues are still underway. A flood watch has been extended into today, with the National Weather Service saying an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain is possible. Several communities are also under mandatory evacuation orders around that part of Texas.